Double hung windows, $259 installed. Compare at $600.
Tonight, breaking news bracing for a major nor'easter. Authorities now warning this could be a life-threatening storm. Hurricane-force wind gusts. The storm from the Carolinas up through D.C., Philly, New York, and Boston. Wind gusts in some places surpassing 70 miles per hour. Also tonight, Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, holding meetings with banks and lenders inside the White House. The New York Times reporting in one case, a job at the White House was discussed for one of the men. Then large loans from those Wall Street companies to Jared Kushner's family business. What's going on? Tonight, the nuclear warning to America. Russian President Vladimir Putin and his new threat. Giant images of missiles raining down on Florida, saying to the world, you'll listen to us now. Breaking developments in the case of the young mother who vanished from her home while she was getting ready to take her children to daycare. What authorities have now revealed tonight. And the major collision turning deadly today, several rigs and cars erupting into flames.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night. And we begin tonight with that powerful nor'easter set to slam the East Coast. 70 million Americans from North Carolina all the way up to Maine about to get hit with this. Two systems merging to create this nor'easter. Hurricane-force wind gusts in some places, more than 70 miles an hour. Heavy snow and flooding rain. High tide and a full moon adding to the danger. We have the track of this storm tonight. ABC's Gio Benitez leads us off from Scituate, Massachusetts tonight.
Tonight, homes are boarded up and residents are racing to fill sandbags with a massive nor'easter bearing down on the East Coast. Evacuations underway in Massachusetts. Officials warning
we expect to lose homes during this storm. If you are in one of those areas, you need to get out.
January's nor'easter brought hurricane-force wind gusts, massive waves, and devastating flooding from record tides, even breaching seawalls. And they're worried this one will be even worse.
People should be concerned. This is going to be a very long duration storm. We're expecting at least 3 astronomically high tides with the accompanying winds.
In Scituate, Julie Berry hoping those sandbags will keep her salon business dry.
Be prepared. Yeah, we weren't last time, so trying a little harder this time.
Much of the nor'easter's energy coming from strong storms that pummeled the south, shutting down roadways across Arkansas. In Dallas, water rescues from cars stranded in torrential flooding.
And Gio Benitez with us live tonight from Scituate on the South Shore there. Reported on these coastal storms often there. And Gio, I gather there's already talk of evacuations tonight?
That's right, David. They want everyone out of here by 10 a.m. tomorrow because we're looking at a possible 4-foot storm surge, wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour. And you know, David, even the National Weather Service now says that this could be a matter of life or death.
All right, Gio Benitez leading us off. Gio, thank you. The effects of this are already being felt, but tomorrow, starting with the commute in the morning, will be treacherous. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all for us. He's live from New York City tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. It will be a different scene here tomorrow. I guarantee you that. An epic storm is shaping up. Look at all these alerts, wide-ranging and far-reaching from Maine all the way down to Georgia. And right now, our inland low is about to punt its energy to the coastline, and that's when things will get kicking overnight. The rain moves into the big cities in the morning, and the stronger the storm gets, the heavier the snow the backside will be, and those winds are going to be ripping 50, 60 miles an hour easy. The I-95 travel going to be a nightmare throughout the day. 1 to 3 inches of snow late in the day for New York, up to a foot in some of the higher hills. But this storm, the wind and the coastal flooding, big time flooding, will continue through Saturday, and those certainly will be the hallmarks of this storm. David?
A much different scene this time tomorrow night. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you as well. We're also tracking a major weather threat in the west tonight. Heavy snow already starting in the Sierras, up to 6 feet expected. Blizzard warnings with winds up to 100 miles an hour. And after January's deadly mudslides in California fresh in everyone's minds, tonight mandatory evacuations have been ordered for the burn-scarred areas of Santa Barbara and Montecito. We'll be following that as well, of course. In the meantime, we turn next tonight to the White House. Just 24 hours after we learned President Trump's longest-serving aide, Hope Hicks, is out. Tonight, growing scrutiny on President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, Jared Kushner. Tonight, new reporting about Jared Kushner and meetings with banks and lenders inside the White House. And then the loans to the Kushner family business that came after. Now the questions surrounding all this. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
With the White House in turmoil tonight, the president's own son-in-law faces growing scrutiny According to the New York Times, two major Wall Street companies loaned Jared Kushner's family business more than $500 million after executives had multiple meetings with Kushner in the White House. One of those executives even discussed the possibility of a White House job. A spokesman for Kushner's lawyer says the president's senior advisor has had no role in the Kushner company since joining the government, adding that Kushner has followed the ethics advice he has received for all of his work, which include the separation from his business and recusals when appropriate. Kushner is often seen at his father-in-law's side, but he rarely speaks publicly.
I have not sought the spotlight, first in business and now in public service.
But in recent days, he hasn't been able to avoid that spotlight. As part of a West Wing shakeup by Chief of Staff John Kelly, Kushner lost his top security clearance. And according to the Washington Post, officials from multiple foreign governments have discussed ways to manipulate Kushner by taking advantage of his lack of foreign policy experience and financial troubles. The Kushner family business is struggling to raise money for the Manhattan skyscraper at 666 Fifth Avenue that Jared Kushner bought for a record nearly $2 billion, much of it still sitting empty.
Is Jared Kushner becoming a distraction given all the controversies that he's been at the center of in recent days?
Look, Jared's still a valued member of the administration, and he's going to continue to focus on the work that he's been doing.
The turmoil engulfing the White House, not just about Kushner. The president's longtime aide and close confidant, Hope Hicks, resigned. And tonight, new questions about the fate of Jeff Sessions after the president once again lashed out at his attorney general on Twitter. This time, Sessions fired right back, defending his integrity. And then he was photographed at dinner with Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, another frequent presidential target, Washington dubbing it a show of solidarity.
Does the president want to get rid of his attorney general?
Not that I know of.
The president is furious at Sessions behind closed doors, sometimes calling him Mr. Magoo. Amid the chaos, one man who has been under fire seems to have weathered the storm. John Kelly with some dark humor today in a visit with former colleagues at the Department of Homeland Security.
I miss every one of you every day. I went, but I did something wrong and God punished me, I guess.
A lot of laughter in that room. Cecilia Vega from inside the White House tonight. And Cecilia, the White House is trying to contain speculation late today about yet another possible high-profile departure.
Yeah, David, sources tell us that National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster is expected to leave his job as soon as this spring. There have been long-running tensions between McMaster and the president over what many here view as McMaster's abrasive style in some Oval Office meetings. But just a few minutes ago, officials here at the White House tell us that there was just an Oval Office meeting between the two men that just wrapped up, and the president told McMaster he is doing a great job, David. They are calling this speculation fake news.
Cecilia Vega inside the briefing room where she was asking the questions today. Thanks to you. The White House and the country learning of that new threat from Russian President Vladimir Putin, his nuclear warning to the world and to the U.S., and those images he used of missiles raining down on Florida. Putin declaring, "You'll listen to us now." Here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz tonight.
Putin's annual State of the Nation was provocative and threatening. Giant screens showing missiles raining down on Florida and what was billed as an invincible intercontinental cruise missile, a nuclear-powered cruise missile which Putin claimed could travel around any obstacle. And for anti-ballistic missile systems, he claimed unstoppable. The missile shown headed toward the west coast of the United States. No one has listened to us, Putin said. You'll listen to us now. A U.S. official tells ABC News the missile is not yet in production, but the former vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs says there are concerns.
The thing that distresses me, they've obtained a high assurance that their attacks would be successful by going to higher speeds and coming from different directions.
Of course, President Trump has done little to turn down the heat.
I want our nuclear arsenal, to be the biggest and the finest in the world.
Putin's announcement also comes just days after the head of the National Security Agency said the U.S. has not done enough to punish Russia over election meddling.
They haven't paid a price, at least, that's sufficient to get them to change their behavior.
And Martha Raddatz with us live tonight. Martha, this threat of these new nuclear weapons from Putin and the rhetoric we've heard from President Trump, some are going to say this seems reminiscent of the Cold War. Are we looking at another one here?
Well, David, if this keeps going in the same direction, it could certainly turn into that, but neither country really wants that to happen again. And for Putin's part, David, this is also about appearing strong domestically. The presidential election in Russia is just weeks away, David.
That's right, on the eve of that election. Martha, thank you. Next to the fallout here at home after that meeting just yesterday at the White House on school violence and guns, President Trump agreeing with the Democrats in the room on several ideas, including universal background checks. He also brought up raising the age to buy weapons like the AR-15. But the reaction from many Republicans was immediate. And tonight, what they're now saying, as Democrats say they're going to hold the president to his word. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl.
A day after he vowed to push for bold action on gun violence,
We have to do something about it. We now have to do so. We have to act.
the president's high hopes are already hitting a familiar reality on Capitol Hill. No consensus, no action.
I hope this doesn't end up like the immigration debate where we end up having votes and end up with nothing to show for it.
Some of the president's most reliable Republican friends in Congress said point blank they couldn't support some of the ideas he embraced. Take his proposal to seize the guns of anyone identified as a possible threat, even without a hearing.
I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
I love my president. I supported him. I still support him. But he and I are just going to have to disagree on this idea of due process.
Republicans are also cool to the president's call for universal background checks and for raising the age to buy a rifle, policies opposed by the NRA.
Some of you people are petrified of the NRA. You can't be petrified. They want to do what's right.
Republicans did not like that.
I think it's a little hyperbole.
And the NRA didn't either.
I thought it made for really good TV, but I thought some of what was discussed is going to make for really bad policy.
Gridlock on guns is nothing new, but President Trump told the lawmakers he is the one who can change that.
You have a different president now.
Well, listen,
I mean, you went through a lot of presidents and you didn't get it done.
Mr. President, it's going to have to be you that brings the Republicans to the table on this, because right now the gun lobby would stop it in its tracks.
I like that responsibility, Chris. I really do. I think it's time. It's time that a president stepped up.
The Democrats in that room loved it, but have doubts on whether the president will follow through.
The question is, was this words, or is the president going to actually put some action behind it?
So let's get to John Karl at the White House tonight. John, we were all watching that meeting play out live on television. Lawmakers in that room, President Trump saying he wants this legislation now, that he doesn't want to wait. But one day later, you're hearing a different tone from the White House?
Well, we seem to hear a different tone from the White House press secretary, where the president said it's important to act now. Sarah Sanders said today this is going to be an ongoing process. We don't expect something to happen overnight. That said, aides say this is a top priority for the president. He met again with the victims of school shootings here today at the White House. His message to them is that he's going to get something done.
All right, John Karl, thanks to you again tonight. President Trump also taking action today on trade, imposing stiff tariffs on imports of steel and aluminum from other countries, blaming those countries for destroying those industries here at home. But could his move lead to higher prices on products here, even cars and trucks? Stocks falling sharply on the news, the Dow Jones losing 420 points to close at 24,608. So let's get right to ABC's chief business and economics correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, tonight. What's rattling investors on this one, Rebecca?
Well, David, the primary concern here is while this is helpful to U.S. steel and aluminum companies, those stocks surged today. It also means that the costs for U.S. manufacturers on those materials go up, and that could also ultimately get passed along to consumers. So take the Ford F-150, for example. The engine is made here in the United States. The transmission is made here. It's assembled here. But some of the aluminum in that car comes from Canada. And as that price goes up, the company ultimately has to make a decision. What do we do? Do we pass that cost along to consumers? Think of anything that involves a can, beer, soda. Think of building materials. All of those costs start to go up in the case of these tariffs.
All right, we'll be tracking this. Rebecca, thanks so much. And one more note tonight involving your money. We've been tracking the spending by members of the president's cabinet, taxpayer dollars. And tonight here, Housing Secretary Ben Carson under pressure for his spending on office furniture, including a dining set for $31,000. They're now canceling that order, but how do they explain the price tag in the first place? ABC's Mary Bruce tracking your money tonight.
It's the department that's supposed to look out for the poorest Americans, but tonight the housing agency is under fire for its own alleged lavish spending.
There's a lot more money in the private sector than there is in the government.
doesn't mean that the government isn't still going to be a major player, but